You missed the buttons. Doc, good morning. And how are you, Doc?
I'm doing okay. Are we speaking Tree or English?
No, we're speaking English. We're speaking English. It's a mix of both, yes. But the show is in English. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Doc, first let's start with issues surrounding the economy.
Yeah.
The recent discussions have been about debt because we understand the IMF's latest review in the country was essentially on our debt. The World Bank has also talked about the fact that we are doing 104, we may be doing 104.6 by the end of the year. What do you make of all these discussions surrounding the issue of the debt? And are we talking about the right things? And what do you expect government to be doing?
Well, in many ways, we are not really forthcoming. The IMF, when they initially came, they thought the debt was lower because we didn't include a lot of things. The debt of cocoa, for example, the bauxite, so-called butter. You borrow money from a company and you're using the bauxite to pay for them. If you haven't finished paying for it, you still owe that money. So you have to add it to the debt you have. You can put an explanation at the bottom, but it has to be included. That was not included. And there are so many things like that we excluded because the finance ministry, not just of Oriata alone, they thought if they put all these things in, it makes our situation look too bad. And so they excluded a lot of things. But that is what the problem is. You're going to the doctor, you are sick from many ailments, and then you have cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure. Then you go and say you have toothache and high blood pressure. What about the other two? So they will cure this, you will come back very soon. That's the problem. And so they went back and they found out, I'm sure people gave them information, that we have not included all the things we are supposed to include. And it makes no sense to me, because if you want to borrow money, you have to be honest. You have to provide all the things that need to be in it for the other person to be able to accurately assess your situation and then provide the answers to it. But you are playing games still. They are playing games. And so that is where they are. We haven't paid so many workers several months. That alone shows you that we are in great distress. So what are we doing? The things we are supposed to do ourselves, we sat down for IMF to come and tell us to do it. What are we? What is wrong with us? And it makes no sense for the minister who brought us to this point to be the same one who's going to save us from it. It makes no sense. Is he the only person in this country who can do that job? All evidence shows that he's done a poor job. So why is he still at post? Can't somebody else take over?
And look, key thing you're saying is that government needs to be transparent about the extent of indebtedness. Is it to the IMF or to us?
Yes. See, when they came the first time and left, that is when we should have gotten our sleeves up and get down to the nitty-gritty. All hands on deck. That is the time the president was supposed to show good faith. For example, reduce the number of your administration. It's too big. Nobody has to tell you before you know that. If you want to save money, don't hire too many people. It's very simple. We didn't do any of it. We still haven't done it. Now we're talking about MNDC vacancies over there. How much money they make? The big giant, the gorilla in the room is the administration itself. But don't tackle anyone. We're still going as business as usual. That is the problem. It means you are irresponsible. It's like we think the IMF has some money, free money, that they will come and give us. No. You are supposed to do the right thing. A small government, a responsible government is a small government. So you don't need someone to come and tell you before you do that. But we didn't do it. We still haven't done it. The expenditure, government expenditure, has not gone substantially down. They are still running around with convoys of V8. You see, you are in this situation. This is the time you want to buy Land Cruisers for parliamentarians and Flagstaff House people and so many others. Why? Why would you do that? You have to cut down on these things. They want to see a drastic change, which tells them that, yes, indeed, we have seen where we are now. But Business as usual means we have to be, IMF is telling us that we have to be careful. If we're not careful, we give them this money and they are not ready to do the right thing, it will be gone and they will come back again.
So you
And so
think
that's what
you
we're looking
think
at.
government should have at least by now, if they had any plans, started implementing those plans?
Well, they should have started it the first time, even before IMF came. Because it's your government, it's not the IMF government. They are just coming to help you because you told them you needed help. Well, what are you sitting there for? You need help, you don't know anything about what you should do. There's not enough money to go around. Your expenditure is too high. Cut the expenditure. Those who are close to retirement, find a scheme for them to go on retirement. This is all an attempt to reduce the number of government employees. No, nobody's doing that. Business as usual. And then we are in this situation, we are cutting short for this, and we are cutting short for that, and we are building this one, and we are, hey, what's going on? Are you in an emergency situation or not? That's the question. We are playing games. It's all politics. And that is not good. I don't think the IMF is clear as to what to do. Because one day they want to help us. They really want to help us. But then they find out, oh, this one is not in it, and there's another one here, and they did this one. And then on top of all that, look at the Auditor General 2021 report. What is the bodies, World Bank, IMF, what are they supposed to do with this report? This is damaging. You are wasteful, corrupt, incompetent, all of it. And so they want to see that these issues are tackled. What are we doing? Have you seen anybody prosecuted? President came and told them that SIGA should give him a report about the Auditor's General's report in 1 month. I say, what? 1 month? If you're serious, you need tomorrow. The report is in Parliament. You tell the parliamentarian, say, Mr. Busu, will bring you a copy. It doesn't take 1 month. And the names are in there. They see, they come up all these shenanigans as if we're doing something when in reality we're not doing anything. You say, God, I'm saying, oh, we need evidence. What evidence? You want me to go and catch him on the field for you? Even if you catch him on the field, you go to court and defend himself. There was a situation where somebody is doing Galamsey. The chief himself of the town came to testify on behalf of the Galamsey that he was not doing Galamsey, he was dredging the river. You hear that? So where is the evidence? You can't have solid evidence. The president appoints people, he can fire them at his own pleasure if he feels that you are not doing well. But so many, last week I was talking about it. And I said the president can fire people just on appearances alone, not just hard evidence. If you hear your appointee is doing something wrong, call him in. What is going on in your field? You've read the thing, they told you certain things, get somebody on the phone or standby who's speaking against him. What do you say about so and so and so? And right from that answers, you know, suspend him for now and do the investigation. That is what he's done now. All these years he's talking about evidence. Why is he suspended that man without hard evidence? What is it? Or he found hard evidence, he was standing there digging it himself. Now he's suspended the man. What is going on? The appearance is that we don't have the will to do it. It's almost as if the president doesn't really want to do it, but now his hands are being forced, and so he has to do something. He goes over here, meeting here. He goes over here, this one here. He says this, but the thing is going on. That's the problem.
So the problem for you is that we are in crisis mode, and the government is acting as if everything is normal.
Yes, that is the problem. Because look, I think it was yesterday, the second deputy governor of Bank of Ghana came to tell us that Ghana's economic woes will soon be over. Hey, you're saying that needs more. As if he was only talking to Ghanaians to calm us down, to make us think that things are not that bad and they are doing okay. But he forgets to realize that he's speaking to the whole world. When the World Bank says the worst is yet to come, this is what you're saying. What he fails to realize is that when you talk like this, and the IMF, World Bank, people stand there, my goodness, this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. He doesn't see the reality on the ground. He doesn't know how to overcome these things or how long it will take if you're just talking like that. Please, somebody should tell them to shut up, because what they say is just as important as what they do. That's what we don't understand. Our government thinks that our situation is just about money. It isn't. It is about ideas and the plan ahead, how you're going to solve this one. And no, they keep talking any way they want. And as you talk, I wrote a poem called Your Words Are Cash. That when you say the wrong things, it doesn't project a good image on your behalf. And that's what we've been doing. Last week, the president went to France, to get an honorary degree. It's okay, but it was an opportunity for him to demonstrate to the rest of the world that he is serious and he means business and he feels for his country people who are in hardship. He took a private jet, went over for 6 days and came back and brought the honorary degree. Okay. How would you see something like that? Is this person serious? Is he serious? By the time he came back, I bet you the private jet will cost him about $4 million. $4 million. There are people today who are not being paid. So many. The Controller Accountant General says that some people this month pay will be suspended because there's a mismatch between their bank account and whatever they say. I can assure you, most likely it's not true. You paid the person 3 months ago. You paid the person 2 months ago. You paid him last month. At the end of this month, you say a mismatch. So what did you use to pay that person before? What is it? So shenanigans, because the money is not enough. There is not enough money. And so you do this here and toss this one here. Lies. That's what's going on.
Doc, you said what we need is not money, but ideas.
Oh, we need money for sure.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we need ideas and plans. Good plans, not just any plans. Good plans, yes. Because that's what IMF is looking for. You owe this much money. You cannot pay it immediately. So show me how you're going to systematically bring it down to manageable levels. That's what they are waiting for.
In the meantime, the CD is trending towards 13 against the US dollar.
Well, yes, that's the problem. The longer, you see, I said before, I have nothing against Nanado. He was my friend. I say, anytime the president remains in office, this country is in trouble. Ghana is in trouble. As long as he is the president, the country is in peril because it takes him forever to do something. This Auditor General is giving somebody 1 month to bring a report. When you can get it tomorrow? Yesterday. What's going on here? Are you serious? Are you serious? Do you need another report on a report before you take action? Hey, what is this? Bring me a copy. You don't have time. Let your assistants read it. Who is doing what? And tell you, call that guy. Bring him here. What's going on? Talk to me like, no. He behaves to say everything has to be in the court of law. That is not how you run a country. You appointed them yourself. You didn't go to court to appoint them. So why can't you deal with them? At least for now, he's dealt with that Bosome Frehon MC. It's not good. I was shouting. If I was speaking in Chi, I say, a man for Monsori, a man for Monsori, no kronugu. Or manugu na Monsori egu. That's what I said last week. Egu. It's slowly coming to a halt. The situation we have here is almost like a phenomenon with frogs. Say if you put a frog in water and heat it up gradually, you stay in there until it dies. But if the hot water is hot, you put him in, he will jump out. Because our situation is creaking along slowly, we don't see it. We complain, yes, but it's mostly about food. But I can assure you, all indicators are pointing in the wrong direction. All indicators. Virtually no exception. All of them. How do you deal with GDP to debt ratio of 104%? But I told people a year ago that all these numbers, the ministry and the Bank of Ghana putting out all bogus numbers. And this is why nothing works. If you start with bogus numbers, you will never get the right result. And so the finance minister, okay, he brings the budget to Parliament, and this year we envisage a deficit of 4%, whatever of GDP, and you say all these jargon. At the end of the year, he comes back again the next year and then review his numbers. We projected 4%. The actual number was 11.5%. You hear that? How do you work with such variation? Wild variation. Nothing will work. 4% has gone to 11.5%. If you're a student in university and you write a research paper and it is the margin of error, we'll throw it out. Nobody will look at it. Bogus. But this is what we are doing. And we keep doing it. And every year, we are not able to make projections. Look at E-level. When they started, I said, hey, this thing is not going to work. It's not going to be the way they are talking about it. No. Such a thing, you don't raise it high too much. Start with maybe 0.5%. Nobody will leave that platform. Those who are on it will still be on it. Those who have jobs will still be doing it. It actually will grow. No. The finance ministry has sat down and calculated that they needed 6.9 billion. It's okay, how much percentage should you charge to get that 6.9 billion? You don't do it like that. But they don't listen to anyone. Once they get in their head, they had a E-levy party, whatever. I say, this is not going to work. I have to tell you, I'm sorry, but after today, I don't patronize E-levy because I don't use Momo. I don't use mobile money.
Oh, good for you, because I hear that the plan is to increase the tax.
Well, then they'll kill it altogether. That's what's coming. This is exactly when I say the country is dying. This is the impetus that made me come out and say that. We are already in distress. The way you go about tackling that distress, if you are not careful, you put a nail in the coffin instead. And they are doing that now. They say you hit on it maybe every other day, and it's going down slowly. That's what's happening. You don't tax people to the hilt. Government cannot do that. You are killing the whole economy when you do that. You have to take taxes gradually. The money must not be in the hands of the government. The money in the country must be in the hands of the people so that they turn it around. They trade with it. They buy things. And the other ones also import things. This one makes things. But when the government tries to take all the money, what's the money left to do business? Today, I bet you for the past 4 years, if you went to the bank to borrow money, nobody will loan you any money except for money that they deduct as well, salary loan. How many have that? And yet, this is where we are. There is no money outside. There's no money. And when you do that, the government says, give me money. Collect the money from the people to pay the debt. Collect to pay the debt. How much is left for the people to be turning around in the economy? It's all gone. Then you'll come to a crashing halt. That's what they don't know. Because many of them, they went to school, finished school, get a job. They have no practical experience. Economics is not just textbook. Who you read economics, the first thing you come to understand is economics is based on all things being equal. So most of it is theoretical. All things being equal. What in reality would you be able to say that all things are equal? No, nothing is ever equal. And Ghanaians' problems are different from Nigerians and so forth. So you look at your problem and you figure a way to solve it. Now, let me say something to you. Not long ago, the governor of Bank of Ghana came out and said that, okay, inflation is coming up. That, I think, was 15%, something like that. And so they are taking measures to halt it or to bring it down. And what was the measure? It's like he was reading a textbook. He said, to bring inflation down, the Bank of Ghana has raised its policy rate. Policy rate is the amount, a tax on banks borrowing from the government, sometimes overnight, sometimes whatever. When the banks have to borrow money at a high rate, then it slows down on its own part of lending money to its customers. When that happens, it means the customers don't have money to turn the business around, so everything is slowing down. You see, if you go to the US, economic slowdown, the solution is not more taxes. No. Economic slowdown, the solution is less taxes. Put money in the hands of consumers and let them spend the money, and it spurs the economy. The consumer goes to the store to buy the thing, and the store order more things, and so they call the factory, and the factory also want to produce quickly, so they call back all the people who were laid off, and it keeps going like that. Ours is reverse. That is, we don't understand the thing. So Bank of Ghana, a whole Bank of Ghana governor standing there and say, okay, we raise the policy rate because they think it's going to work as all things being equal. No. How many people even use the banking system in Ghana? Majority still don't. And so he raised the policy rate. It's just textbook. And then he comes back and say, okay, now that we raise the policy rate, that is going to mop up the excess liquidity in the system. These are his words. Now I'm saying, what? Excess liquidity in Ghana, where? Where is the excess liquidity? You can't borrow money from the bank. You go over there, they will tell you that bring papers, bring this and that, and bring your grandmother's bones. They won't give it to you. So what are you talking about? Excess liquidity? This is what you say in the first world economics. He's saying it here. When you know people don't have money in their hands to be spared inflation. Our inflationary pressure is not from excess liquidity. When the banks don't loan money, how do you get excess liquidity? And yet this is what he's saying. Ours is based on fiscal policy, especially government spending, deficit spending. That is where it comes from. Because they are watching. You're borrowing a lot of money. You're spending a lot of money. Your revenue is nowhere to the expenditure. It doesn't take a genius to tell you eventually you can't pay for this thing. That is what has happened to us. 2019, now the IMF itself has come to say that 2019, World Bank said that the economy was in distress in 2019, which I've said and said, now they want to still say, oh, there's a war in Ukraine and COVID. Hey, they're still saying that. When the World Bank has come to say it, the economy was in distress. I'm sure the World Bank didn't want to follow what the IMF had said in support of the government, that is not internal, whatever. It was exogenous pressures. So the World Bank said, no, 2019, the economy was in trouble. You're still saying the same thing.
Doc, let me conclude by, I'm not sure if I heard you right. You said as long as Nana remains in office, Ghana is in trouble. Did you say, did I hear you right?
Yes, that's what I said.
Are you calling for him to resign or something?
Oh, yes. Yes, because the way things are going, I think it's gone over his ability. It's gone over his abilities.
It's beyond his capacity?
Oh, yes. Yes. So let somebody else let Bawumia take over. Let's see what happens. Because we have no choice. He's the vice president. I'm not saying he's very, very capable either.
And that was what I was going to draw attention to. In fact, there's a video that emerged recently when the president was saying he was bringing Dr. Bawumia essentially to deal with the economic issues. The economy is running rough. How do you bring in somebody who perhaps should be directly blamed for it to replace the person currently sitting there?
Well, in fairness, we cannot blame Bawumia alone for it, because he has said it himself that they didn't allow me to do my work. I don't know who they are referring to, but I can tell you, for a period of time, his whole office of being the head of the economic team was hijacked by the senior minister and the finance minister. You understand? He had no standing in that committee. They controlled everything. So one time, Bawumia come and tell you that, okay, the reasons why Ghana is where it is because of the war in Ukraine and the COVID and banking cleanup. Now he's saying that. Bawumia is saying that. And that is an indication that he wants to tell us that decision at the bank about the banking cleanup, he was not in it. Or he didn't make it. That's what he's not able to say it directly, but that is what he's referring to. And so it's not fair. Besides, what are we going to do? So, because we think this one is not any better, we should continue with the worst one? No. Change something. Let's see what happens.
Aside the suggesting that we have no other choice, I also wanted to draw attention to that Dr. Bawumia has been a keen defender of the economic policy direction of this government.
Not anymore. If you listen to him closely, yes, he was. He has no choice but to defend it because it's part of it. I say, okay, they didn't let you do your job, so what were you sitting there for? You should have resigned. But he wouldn't resign. Ghana here, who resigns? That's the problem. No, who resigns? But he has said it, that they didn't let him do his job. He said it himself, referring to the others in the committee. They hijacked the whole thing from him. At some point, at some point, he offered to resign. At some point, he offered to resign. And some people, some big men in the country appealed to him not to do that, and so he stopped. I said, no. If you feel that you'll be blamed for what is going on and you don't have a hand in it, you should resign. But of course, he didn't resign. No, here in Ghana, nobody resigns, and that's where we are. But the point is, the person in charge clearly cannot do it. Nanado cannot do it. So should we still leave him there because we don't think the vice president will do any better? I don't think so. Change it, and the newness will put impetus in him to change things. The way we are going cannot continue. Today they are having a meeting about Galamsey. How long are we going to do this? We have messed up all our water bodies. Now we are the vice president is saying proudly that Ghana is going to invest $750 million in drinking water. What, are we crazy? First you destroy the rivers, then you go and buy water. That's what he's saying. What is this? Makes no sense.
Doctor, they say I don't patch. They say I know any you cry. Nanado
said almost any. I'm telling you, because the Kakana, I was saying Timmy turning around was sister no Kakana economy no air cost.
Okay.
As our money just can internal revenue for the Omotebo acoustic store in Bejiska. So what the problem is a dilemma. They say no president will say some person and quiet teaching.
Yeah.
Okasa say I then out to a cross teacher for some moment. Put to me. What the V8 na mo ko convoy. E don na ko catch obi so on sacrifice. Na dey na mo mo ye. Asem we knew.
But I see him say an IMF swaba ama omampani say IMF swaba die. Le 10 one mra wi ne de na bibia da dim two patches IMF bo ma ba programs a omne aban di hu nkomo no nyina ba se ne ye team no sa na e be ko no.
Oh, said the team e be worse.
Oh, Samu.
Yes, I know there was some catch on a be worse because IMF yes almost be changed go. Almost be boy busia. What they say as can was a piaka. Ebi my grant account just saying he has between you. But still what they can also chia. And all my mouth conditionalities. I was so try by so a shododo or so tea ways or that they say no one person cash specifics. Now Ghana for politician you got a free church and they are from near IMF next year and your money and your monka. They said to expenditures and my brain and say that's what they are going to do. But I can assure you. Yes, almost Babani and what are you? There you almost but say idea was it, especially the external one. Almost say yen default.
Okay.
And default nature say, and then the nature say good. Now here we are in Nigeria in trouble, Pakistan, one yen yen timintia. Nature say a good world economic order no completely. All my human say make sure says I happen. And say do baby now watch you for baby and ye won't timintia away. Or it's okay, your bob was a fetianka. It's a yen so I just say. Yes, yeah, help temporarily say who can and yeah in default. A code default to their nature say good.
No.
No one and no more person will help you, then could
Knock.
Because who could do default in their own beyond finance for a long time. That's the problem.
Dr. Amoako Baah, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you.
He is a political scientist speaking to us on the issue of the economy specifically, and brought in issues of, I think the focus of the whole conversation for him is leadership.